Hello, this is Suzanne Kreider. This is the first in a series of videos called How 7 Leaders Stopped Making These 7 Brain-Based Mistakes During Accountability Conversations. Mistake number 1, negative narrative. Leaders often get stuck in this negative narrative that really paralyzes us during important conversations. Let me tell you about one of my clients. His name is Gene, and he had this ongoing negative narrative about his boss, Connie. He would have beliefs like, I don't like her style, it's the wrong kind of leadership style, and she's going to make me be like her. So when he would go into these conversations with her, he had these negative stories about her, which actually kept him in the past rather than being in the present. That's the huge problem with the brain. I hate to tell you this, but brains are naturally negative. The brain operates like a toggle switch. It's either in a narrative, a story that's either about the past or the future, or when we can notice that, we can bring it into the now. And so that's what Gene needed to do. He needed to notice that he had this negative narrative that was paralyzing him, and he was actually just stuck in the past. This is very important for leaders to come out of this negative narrative because it creates a lot of stress for you, it makes you ineffective, and it really narrows your scope of influence because you're only looking for people to be exactly like you, and they're not going to be. The solution with Gene was to help him start noticing, and you can do this too. Just notice that you're having these judgments about people. Second step is to use some really basic tools to take you out of narrative and into now. That is so important, just to come into the present moment. Then to really investigate these beliefs. Was she really trying to make Gene be exactly like her? No, she wasn't. She didn't care. She just wanted him to be effective. So when he realized that he didn't have to be like Connie, he could just use a little bit of Connie's style when he was interacting with her, not with the rest of the people he worked with and managed. And then the fourth piece was that he had to really come up with a very specific plan to go into these conversations with Connie so that he could notice as soon as he got into the negative narrative, pull himself back into the present moment, and use some very specific tools to draw out of her what he needed. And he had amazing success with this. The key was he learned how to stay really calm instead of getting tense and judgmental. Oh, I don't like Connie, she's so mean. But to be able to say, gee, wow, Connie's really successful. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be very clever about noticing when in the conversation I can insert what I need from her, how to be more direct with her, and then how to drop that style when I'm talking with my employees and want to be more interactive, more participatory, and less directive. So, main points are, brains are naturally negative. Pull your brain out of that naturally negative narrative into the present moment. Investigate your thoughts and see what's really true here. And how can I be a little bit less egocentric and more aware and open to what is possible in this situation? Investigate your thoughts and then plan to have a very, very specific, directed, concise conversation that happens in the present moment, not in your negative narrative, and draws people out by asking questions and being direct to come up with solutions.